Hey everybody, it's Alan, and I hope you are doing well. So it is time for us to visit one of the few remaining songs that I have not done from the band The Warning. Going back to the 21st Century Blood period, and we're going to listen to the song Exterminated. Man, I gotta tell you, I really like the rawness of that sort of studio jam demo style recording that we just heard. There are pros and cons to it. The con, in my opinion, is the fact that Ali's bass is not mixed really well with it. It's the whole recording is a little bit more top end than it is low end. So Ali is not quite as present in that sort of demo recording. As she normally would be placed in a properly produced recording. The thing I love about it, though, is sort of the rawness, the sort of pure raw energy, and you could hear what they were working towards. You could hear what they were working for. I don't talk enough about Dany, and I don't know why that is, other than the fact that I'm kind of taking her for granted a little bit. And that's on me. That's on me. I'm overly impressed with Pow and Ali, and I think that just comes down to the fact that my main instrument is guitar. And so when I hear Dany play, I think to myself more often than not, Yeah, she's doing kind of exactly what I would have done if I had the opportunity or the musical, influence on that. And in a way, this might sound arrogant and I don't mean to say that, but in a way, it kind of it feels right. Everything she's doing feels right. Her rhythm guitar playing, her accents, her downstrokes, the heavy moments, the quieter moments, the I mean that guitar solo was absolutely perfect. Every note that she played, I was thinking before I heard her played it. And I haven't heard this song before. So for me, I hope it comes across as the sort of the intended compliment that I mean it to be, that she's in a way I feel almost a soulful connection to her guitar playing and to her singing. Frankly, I am absolutely utterly blown away by her. Um, I call attention to Allie because as often as I do, mostly because she's the youngest sister, and I am utterly blown away at how much talent she displayed at the earliest age and has continued to evolve into a phenomenal bass player. I mean, really phenomenal bass player. But as I've said in many videos, she plays for the song, and I absolutely love that about her. I love hearing the little notes, the little frills, the little fill-ins that she does, the slides, the arpeggios, the extra little things that she does that don't take away from the root and the backbone of the song. In that instance, she reminds me an awful lot of Michael Anthony from Van Halen, in the sense that people criticize him for not being a great bass player, even though he's a phenomenal bass player. He just backed up Eddie Van Halen and Alex Van Halen, which in many ways, if you think about it, and I am not drawing equivalency here, but she's got Pow and Dany, you know, playing their asses off, and she's doing exactly what she needs to be the backbone of the band, while she still fills in these little nuggets of pure genius on her bass playing. And Pow's personality comes through in every drum beat. And again, I sort of started off playing music as a drummer for the first 6 or 7 years of my life before I picked up the guitar and threw the drumsticks away and haven't touched them in decades. So again, sort of my draw towards Pow is much like everybody else's. It's just like, holy crap, she's amazing, in every level, in every aspect. But for Dany, I feel like to a degree, I almost take what she's doing for granted, because I hear what I think I would do in what she is doing. And um, again, I don't mean to come across as arrogant that way. It's almost an internal heartfelt appreciation for somebody who I feel is reading my mind before I hear her play what she's going to play, if that makes any sense. She's really magnificent.
Everything is great.
So you can hear in that they're hey, they're definitely not playing to a click because that performance is a little bit loosey goosey. Not in a bad way. It's just like so many other live bands have done where they just kind of maybe they can't hear each other as well as they'd like to. Maybe they're just a little bit overamped with energy from the live performance or whatever it may be, but you can hear the time kind of floating just a little bit to the point where it kind of sounds a little disjointed, but again, nothing out of the ordinary. If you've ever seen a band live that's not playing to any kind of a click, you just, you'll get those moments where they speed up and slow down or they kind of miss a note here or there. I mean, they're still very young in their early developmental period and they're really coming together and you can hear where they're going. You can hear where they're going. And I honestly don't know how much she plays a Les Paul in these early days. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, was the Les Paul the first sort of real guitar she got? And then, moved on to guitars that were more ergonomically fit for her, like the guitar she moved into, obviously the PRS later on, but other guitars in between the Les Paul and the PRS. And I'm looking at it going, was she completely comfortable with that guitar or not? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm sure somebody out there will pipe up and tell me that, well, she loved that guitar. It was her first real high quality guitar that she got. Again, it's not a comment or a criticism. It's just an observation. So I'm curious to find out what the third version I'm playing for you sounds like.
Darkness invades me again.
See, now that version was so much tighter than the first live version. And again, you can see they're older. You know, they've had more time playing that song. They've played that song, I don't know, hundreds of times at that point, by comparison to the first live performance when they were much younger. And again, you can really judge their age based upon Allie's height. Um, you know, listening to that, the only problem I have with that recording is that there is a very, very low drone coming from Pow's floor toms, I believe, that kind of fills in this low rumble in the background that almost makes me think that something else in my condo here is vibrating, and it's not. It's in the recording, and it's just this very, very low drone that sounds like it's probably off of one of Pow's floor toms. Again, not a critique, just an observation. But you can hear how much more comfortable, how much more seasoned that song's performance had become over the course of a few years. And I can't help but watch Allie. Basically, her stage movement is so eye-catching. It so visually draws a person's eye in that it's almost the essence of movement on the stage. You know, she's kind of taken the place of the lead singer who kind of runs around the stage, even though she doesn't move too much out of a sort of a 20-foot circle of comfort. She still has this physical movement across the stage that draws the eye in. From, you know, you sometimes hear about great bands and you're just like, well, they're phenomenal to see, but they just kind of stand there. And, you know, that's been a critique for some bands for many, many, many a year. And then you've got other acts where it's like, well, the reason I'm watching, you know, Mick Jagger run around the stage, the reason that David Lee Roth is such a great frontman is his movement across the stage. And they're not just standing in one place. Well, when you're sort of attached to the microphone, and in Pow's case, she's literally stuck behind a drum set, you need to have that sort of visual presence to sort of make the live performance that much more stimulating visually. Audibly, it's incredibly stimulating, but visually, you're kind of like, I want to see movement and action. It's sort of like you can watch all the greatest movies in the world, but we all clearly remember the car chase. You know, the car chase blows us away. It's like everything else about the movie Bullet was good. It was a good storyline. It was a really interesting thing, but we all go to the car chase, you know. I can get completely excited about the humor in the Blues Brothers, but we also all remember the car chases. And that action on stage, that movement on stage is frankly, it's almost critical to a great live band these days. And I don't know. It's just something that caught my eye. You know, it just she always catches my eye. But as I'm watching it, again, I'm thinking to myself, Dani's doing pretty much exactly what I would hope to do if I were in her place. And I don't mean to sound arrogant when I say this, but I do actually mean that as a compliment. You know, I really do. I think it's quite, it's meant to be a compliment. And again, not to say that I'm better than she is, because I definitely am not. But I just think that it's like when you can sit back and think about, well, what would I do in that situation? And then she literally does it. You're like, okay, there's the answer to the question right there. Okay, anyway, my brain's scattering, so I'm going to cut this off right now. Feel free to leave a comment. We could talk about it further. Just know that I appreciate all of you, and I wish you well.